Hey guys, it's Rachel. So today I have a new video for you guys all about fitness. So I've gotten a lot of questions on my Instagram about my fitness routine, and I decided to share a little bit more about my workout schedule and how I try and stay in shape, stay motivated. So that's what we're doing today. So anyway, I guess I'll give you guys, I already did a video about a year ago that kind of outlined why I got interested in fitness, and if you guys want to see that video, I'll link it down below. But so this is a little bit of an update, but I wanted to share with you guys what I'm doing and how I continue to stay motivated and active. So I was never really athletic growing up, and I never really played a lot of sports. I just wasn't into working out or fitness at all. I still remember in gym class, I would literally be carrying candy, like as we would be running around the gym. And so I feel like I had, even though I was from a really healthy family, I just like had no interest in working out. And instead of doing sports, I did theater in high school. And so that was kind of my life. I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything. But when I turned 25, I really started to notice a change in my body. My metabolism had slowed, which often happens at that age. And I just was putting on weight. I felt uncomfortable in my own skin, and especially being a blogger, you know, having my photo taken all the time, I didn't really feel comfortable in my own skin, and I did want to be healthier. So I decided to make a change, and that change was pretty drastic. I really was like, this is the time I want to focus on myself and my body and my health. And my friend Noelle was like, do you want to come try CrossFit with me? And I was like, no. I was like, that sounds crazy. I haven't done any, like, that's for sporty people and athletes, and I just was so frightened. But she's my friend, and I was like, look, let's try it. I mean, the worst that can happen is we go to the free class, we hate it, we laugh, we get pizza after. So we decided to go to, like I said, the free introduction class, and I went to the CrossFit Virtuosity here in Williamsburg in Brooklyn, and it was the worst 8 minutes of my life. It was, well, the beginning is obviously just a overview of CrossFit, how it works, how the memberships work, and then there was like an 8-minute workout, and I figured, like, 8 minutes, how hard could it really be? I was wrong. It was terrible. It was the first time I'd ever done burpees, and they didn't get any easier to this day, but they're still awful. But part of it was actually great because I looked at myself and I was like, I could barely walk for like a week after this free intro class, and it really made me realize how out of shape I was, but also my desire to be in shape and to feel confident in these types of classes. So I decided to go for it and do CrossFit. So in Williamsburg at this gym, there's a level 1 and a level 2, which is great because there's such a misconception that if you do CrossFit, you're immediately gonna get hurt and it's so bad for you. And I think that is such a myth, because I think there are people who go into these classes, and of course a lot of times I would say that it's men go into these classes, maybe they were an athlete in high school or college, they see what everyone else is doing and they push themselves too far. They don't know their form, they don't know what they're doing, but they just want to be the best, and that hyper competitiveness does breed in CrossFit. But for me, I always focus on what I can do, the best I can do every time. And of course I push myself, but never to a limit of getting injured. And I have never been injured other than some bruises and bumps. But level 1 really focused, which I loved having the level 1, because literally I did not know how to do anything. I had never picked up a barbell. I'd never done a burpee. I didn't know how to do any of the movements. And of course, you can get hurt if you pick up a barbell and have no idea how to use it. It's very easy if you're not using the correct form to get hurt. But the level 1 really focused on form, and the CrossFit coaches are really watching you, really making sure that you're doing things correctly, and you spend a lot of time on mobility, on form, and I just love that. So most people are in level 1 for a few weeks and then they test out, but I was in it with Noelle for, almost 6 months. I want to say 8 months, a long time, but that was fine. What's wrong with that? I just really wanted to be sure that I was ready to go in with everyone else, that I was comfortable with all of the different barbell movements, And so I finally moved into level 2. But the changes in my body I noticed from the beginning. So even before I started level 2, I would say in 3 months I probably lost the most amount of weight. I lost about 13 pounds. And that's sort of where I plateaued, because then I started putting on more and more muscle. So I try not now to focus on the scale at all, because I feel like it was pushing me to a place of being really unhappy because I wasn't making changes, but I wasn't realizing that, of course, as we all know, muscle takes up less room than fat, even at the same weight. So even though I was looking a lot smaller and leaner and had muscles, I wasn't changing weight. But of course, when you get to a good, healthy weight, then weight's not important anymore. Anyway, I feel like I'm getting off track. So I also decided to start including other types of fitness into my workout. At the beginning, I really just did CrossFit, but I started to realize that it was a little bit intense for my body, and I wanted to try and do other types of activities, especially cardio. I wanted to start including more cardio into my workout routine because, of course, strength training and cardio they kind of balance each other out. So cardio is how you're going to burn calories. That's, the biggest thing to do with weight loss. And then strength training is going to make you stronger, make you leaner. And so I think that marrying the two of those is exactly what works the best for me. So right now, what I try and do is 3 days of CrossFit and 2 days of spin. Then additionally, I like to do 1 day of a low intensity training. So a lot of times I'll do yoga or go for a long walk. And then I always try and take 1 day of rest. And I'll try and space it out. So like Monday, CrossFit, Tuesday, I love to do spin. So that's my cardio of choice. So spinning class, and then again, CrossFit, spin, and then maybe yoga, then CrossFit, and then a day of rest. So I want to respond to some of the questions I get asked the most often on my Instagram about fitness, now that I have kind of laid out my workout routine for you guys. So one of the biggest questions that I got was about intimidation at the gym, and do you feel scared when you go to the gym? How do you start going to the gym if you're nervous? X, Y, and Z. And that's something that I totally relate to. I'll never forget that day when I walked into CrossFit and I felt out of place. Fortunately, what I loved is that people really tried to make me feel at ease there, and it really is, at least at my gym, a super, super supportive community of people who are always cheering you on. And for me, now that I've been a member for almost 2 years, when there's new members, I always try and make new members feel comfortable by cheering them on, by telling them they're doing great, because that's what I experienced when I started. So I think making the first step to go to the gym is always the hardest thing to do. I think, there's so many reasons not to go to the gym. There's so many excuses that we can make for ourselves, that we're busy, that we're too scared, that we're going to be intimidated by others, that we don't know what equipment to use. And I think that that is so normal, and that for me, that's why I really do prefer classes. I think I like a community-based activity. When I would try and go to the gym by myself, I had no idea how to use any of the equipment. I would just mostly do the butterfly stretch for 30 minutes listening to music. And then maybe 10 minutes on the treadmill. So for me, I think classes can be a great way, and lots of gyms have classes, YMCA gyms have classes, and I think it's just a great way to have an instructor, to have someone there to motivate you, and it's a great way to meet other people that, everyone's there for the same purpose, whereas I feel like a traditional gym experience can be a little bit isolated. And that's not to say, obviously from time to time I still, if I'm traveling or whatever, we'll still go to the gym by myself and, use a treadmill, make sure I'm still getting a workout. But I would say personally, I really believe in classes and community experiences. And it's sort of counterintuitive to say this because, of course, the gym intimidation is worse when you first start. And once you have more confidence, you feel amazing. That's the thing I learned so much from, especially from weight training and lifting weights, lifting barbells, is that I have so much more confidence in myself inside and outside of the gym. I feel like, especially for women, having that strength, it is so empowering. It feels incredible, and you just can't believe that you could do that. You could lift that. It's just, for me, it was a really transformative experience. The gym intimidation, it's really just get yourself there, try and focus on your goals. Try and focus on the fact that you came here for you. You came here to do the right thing for your body, for yourself, and that's all there is. And just, you know, really people are looking at you probably less than you think. So just focus on yourself, on the best that you can do, and just fucking go for it. That's all I have to say. So another question I get asked a lot is how I stay motivated. And I totally understand that question, but I sometimes don't feel like I know how to answer it because, I mean, for 25 years I was unmotivated. So I totally understand that, you know, of course there were spurts throughout my life where I did try to do fitness and of course just sort of fell off. And this has been the only time these past few years that I've really stayed true to what I want to do. But I think a great way to stay motivated, one thing that I do is at the beginning of the week, I write down what I want, what my workout schedule is going to be. And the same way I would write doctor's appointment or meeting. And so that way it's not like a question mark, like, am I gonna work out today? It's in my calendar and it's a responsibility. So I try and trick my brain to say like, oh, these are the things I'm doing this week. And so that way there's no question about whether or not I'm gonna work out. Because I think what would happen a lot of times before is, you know, I'd be like, well, maybe after work, if I'm feeling it, I'll work out. And that's not a good way to do it because you're never gonna wanna work out. You're gonna wanna come home and have a glass of wine or go to happy hour or relax on the couch. So having that schedule, having things ready for me to, if I go to the gym early in the morning, before I go to sleep, I lay out the gym clothes I'm gonna wear, sports bra, pants, shoes, socks, everything, so that when I get up, I can just go, have my water bottle ready, everything, because then there's no excuse and you can sleep in a little bit more, so that's good. So that's a big way that I continue to motivate myself. And then I actually really do like to take, it's hard at the beginning, but taking photos of your body to show the progress that you've made. And when I'm at the gym, I like to sometimes record myself so I can see my performance and try and do better the next time. So those are a couple of ways that I stay motivated. A big other way I would say is having a buddy. So especially when I first started, I would only go to the gym when Noelle would go to the gym, and it kept us both super accountable. And even if it's not somebody that you can actually go to the gym with, if it's somebody who lives somewhere else, maybe you can have a little text chat and just be constantly reminding yourselves, like, when are you going to the gym this week? What are you doing this week? So you can just be accountable. I think that's a huge thing, is holding yourself accountable in these ways. And if you tell someone else that you're gonna go to the gym, then that person, you know, then you have to explain to that person if you're not going. So I think that that's a little bit of another way to kind of get yourself motivated to work out. I also get asked a lot of questions about strength training, about weightlifting, and that is something that I really did learn through CrossFit. And so it's not something that I think I would not recommend doing without proper instruction. I don't love saying that because obviously that isn't accessible to everyone, to have a trainer or to be going to a class like CrossFit. But at the same time, strength training is very serious and it is very easy to get hurt. Much easier to get hurt than something like walking or running or you know, similar cardio activities, because if you're not in the right position lifting very heavy weights, you can and probably will get hurt. So while I think that it is an amazing, amazing way to exercise and it's really empowering for women, I would highly recommend seeking out a trainer or doing something like a CrossFit where there is some instruction. Because I think just walking into a gym and picking up a really heavy weight is just a bad idea. And I'm so glad that I was able to learn so much about sort of the basics of weight training and weightlifting. Because I mean, even with yoga or things like that, you can watch a video and do these type of low intensity trainings, but just honestly, I really do say this, is that you need to be very careful when it comes to weight training and try and find somebody who is an expert to help you if that's the path that you want to take, which I highly, highly recommend strength training to everyone, of course. I also get asked a lot of questions about working out while traveling, or basically how to work out if you have a really busy schedule. And I totally understand that question, and like I said before, it's so easy to not work out. I mean, it's so easy to not work out. Obviously, the hard thing is forcing yourself to go to the gym and making that time. And I think that that's the biggest thing. It's all about making time. So if you are really committed and really do want to work out, just have to find that time. And I personally believe that working out, generally speaking, in the morning is better. And there's data to prove that people that work out in the morning are generally more successful because, of course, if it's the first thing you have to do, have it planned out and you wake up and you go, it's done, it's finished. But a lot of times when you hold off until the end of the day, unless you're feeling so motivated, it is so hard after a long day of work to motivate yourself to change. I mean, you're gonna be hungry, you're gonna wanna have a dinner, or maybe have a glass of wine. And so I do highly recommend, especially if you're just starting out, to try and work out, if it works with your schedule, in the mornings, because you're just gonna have more success. And then for me, now that I have been doing it for so long and it's so ingrained in my head that it's just something I have to do every day, then I do sometimes work out in the evenings. But I think especially at the beginning, I really do recommend for people to try morning workouts if they can. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video all about my fitness routine and some FAQs that I've gotten from you guys. So if you guys have more questions, please leave them in the comments below and I will be responding to those comments. Thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!